Welcome back to the second session. So we're very excited about this session. We can't wait for you to meet your new friends and mentors because nature is full of them. So this session is an outdoor experiential session. So it should take around 2 hours, I would think. It might take more if you get really into the activities. If you've got less time, you could break up some of these activities and do them in more than one visit. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to find a natural space, ideally somewhere local to you. The wilder the better, you'll get a richer experience. So ideally a woodland, if you can get to a woodland. However, if that's not possible, don't worry too much. These activities will work in any outdoor space. So a park, a garden, a beach, a meadow, whatever you've got available to you, these things will still work for you. Do make sure you've got permission to be on the land or that it's public access so you don't get into trouble for trespassing. It also might be quite nice if you can go out with at least one other person or a small group of people, because then you'll get to share your experiences and tell each other the stories of your adventures and just kind of reflect with each other as well. If you've got the technology and you've got a smartphone, which means you'll be able to listen to this video whilst you're out and about, then do take that with you, maybe with some headphones, so you can listen to me whilst you're out. I will record this video so that you don't need to see me on screen, that you can just listen to the words, and I'll be talking you through the various activities. If you don't have that sort of technology, then don't worry. Maybe watch this video first, take a few notes. You also might like to take with you a little notebook and pen, or a paper and pen, because sometimes it's nice to draw things and mark make rather than type on a screen. You also might want to take a bottle of water with you if you're going to be out for some time. And I would strongly encourage you to check the weather forecast and make sure that you're dressed with enough clothes for the temperature and for the weather conditions, because who knows what the weather will bring us at the moment. As we go through the activities, please work within your own comfort limits. Don't feel forced to do anything that you're not comfortable with, and be mindful of staying safe in the environment. So when you're ready to go out, head out to your natural space and take a few moments to kind of wander and explore a little bit, particularly if this is the first time you've been to that natural space. Yes. And then when you're ready, find a spot somewhere a bit off the main paths so that you can do these activities undisturbed. And in the words of the poet William Wordsworth, come forth into the light of things. Let nature be your teacher. So we're going to start off with some nature connection activities. And the first one I'd like to invite you to try is finding yourself a sit spot. So this is a place to sit somewhere in nature. Now, if you've gone out with other people, what I would recommend is that you find your own individual sit spots. You can be close to the other people, but so that they're not in your line of sight, so that you still get that feeling of solitude in nature. So it's a real chance to take a moment for yourself and ground yourself in this place. So I invite you for a moment just to close your eyes and know that there's somewhere special in this space that is calling to you. There's a place here that wants you to come and sit and spend time with it. So I invite you just to feel that in your body. Maybe your body knows where this place is, even if your mind doesn't. Maybe you might feel a little pull in a certain direction to go and explore a certain way. So take a moment to freely wander. Let your body take you wherever you feel inclined to go. And you might come across a place that you think, yes, that looks like a good place to sit and spend some time. Or it might spark your interest in some way. So take a few moments, find yourself a space that you feel comfortable to sit for a few moments. Then once you're there, feel free to kind of take in your surroundings, have a good look around, say hello to the plants and animals that might be around you, and take a few good deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out, breathe in and breathe out. You might want to pause the video at this point and take out your headphones so that you can explore with all your senses. So now you've found your sit spot, I invite you to join me in exploring the senses through a mindfulness type exercise, or it's sometimes called sensory activation. So we're going to go through some of the senses and focus ourselves around them. So we're going to start with the sense of sight. So I invite you, maybe start off with your eyes closed for a moment and take a few deep breaths just to really ground yourself in this place for a minute. And then slowly open your eyes and see things afresh. Try and see with fresh eyes. So just notice colours, shapes, maybe the light and shadow. Try not to worry about naming things, because that takes you into a more thinking mindset. So just think about observing without unpicking it. So maybe take a moment to look down at the ground, what's close to you. Again, just noticing colours and forms, shapes, shadows. And then maybe raise your head up to observe what's above you. Maybe there's silhouettes of things. Again, noticing colours, shapes, forms. And then maybe looking to your right hand side, seeing what's there. And then over to your left hand side. And again, just noticing. Bring yourself back to centre and look in front of you. So we tend to use very focused vision a lot of the time, as in we're looking at something rather than using the whole of our field of vision. So there's a game that we can play called Owl Eyes, which is all about trying to activate our peripheral vision and just appreciating how much we can actually see. Yeah. So in order to do this, you need to fix your gaze at a point in front of you, and your eyes are going to continue to look at that point. You're not going to move your eyes, but we're just going to bring our peripheral vision into our awareness. So to do this, I want you to put your hands out in front of you and wiggle your fingers with your arms outstretched. And then without turning your head, just move your arms out to the side so they're outstretched fully to the right and to the left. Keep wiggling those fingers and bring them out until they're just on the edge of your vision. So you should still be able to see them wiggling even though you're not looking at them. Your head's still facing forwards. So that is the full range of your peripheral vision. It's massive. And we can do the same thing up and down. So bring your fingers wiggling, arms outstretched in front of you again. And this time, bring one arm up and one arm down, still wiggling those fingers until they're on the very edge of your vision, of your peripheral vision. And again, that shows you just how tall your peripheral vision is. Feel free to rest your arms now, but try to keep that soft gaze of peripheral vision. So you're kind of still aware of the whole of your field of vision, even though your eyes and your head is still facing forward. And there's something about this kind of soft focus that can be quite powerful when we're out in nature. So trying to keep that gaze, now you can start to move your head around, still taking in the fullness of your peripheral vision. Maybe you're now noticing movements in the environment that you perhaps didn't notice before. And again, look to your right and to your left. And looking up and down, using your peripheral vision. This is also quite a nice activity to try and do whilst you're walking. Walking slowly, obviously. But it's a nice one to kind of zone in to the vision of nature. So next we're going to focus on the sense of hearing and listen to all the sounds in the woodland. So you might like to close your eyes for this. Also, if you're listening to me on your headphones, you might want to listen to the instructions first and then take out your headphones so that you can obviously hear all of the sounds. So close your eyes and really draw your focus to your ears and your hearing. Imagine that your ears are on long pieces of string that you can throw out into the world around you, and that they'll pick up sounds from far away. So I invite you first to throw your ears forward and send them out as far as you can in front of you. Another little activity you might like to do is give yourself deer ears. So you take your hands and you cup them behind your ears so that it helps focus the direction. And just listen out for the sounds in front of you. Again, don't worry about naming things, just listen to the sounds and appreciate them for what they are. Now you can do the same to your right hand side. Send your ears out to the right hand side as far as they can go. Again, you might like to use your deer ear, cup your right hand behind your ear and use it to cast the ear far away, capture those sounds. Now bring your attention behind you. Again, cast your hearing as far as you can behind you. Use your deer ears, cup the hands so that they're open behind you to help you focus. And then bring your attention around to your left hand side. Again, cup your left hand round your ear and see how far you can stretch your hearing. And then finally, bring your ears back close to you and listen to all the sounds that are immediately around you in the area. So now we've listened to the sounds of nature, we're going to move on to the sense of touch. So just take a moment to focus your attention to your skin. Can you feel the wind gently blowing against your face? Are your hands in contact with something? Or your mouth, in Lily Rose's case, is touching something? Can you feel how the weight of your body is positioned on the ground? Can you feel the weight of your clothing against your skin? So try to feel using all parts of your body, not just your hands. Then when you're ready, use your hands to explore the area. So explore what's underneath you. Perhaps there's things behind you. Just feel different textures around you for what they are. Again, don't try to name things, just experience the sensations. Perhaps some things are warm, some things are damp. Maybe there's things under the leaf litter that feel differently. Maybe there's soft earth. So just take a moment to feel things. If you'd like to explore things not just using your hands, then perhaps take your shoes and socks off and experience things with your feet. Perhaps you might like to go for a barefoot walk later as well. Or you could just find items and maybe use your cheek on your face. Just gently rub things and see whether that's a different sensation to when you're holding things in your hands. So just take a few moments to explore all the textures around you. So now we're moving on to the sense of smell. So I invite you to take some good deep breaths through your nose. Perhaps sniff the air. Imagine you're a fox in the forest and you're sniffing around for the scents on the air. What do you notice? Then maybe start to notice the smells of the things around you. So perhaps there's something like this tree stump that I'm by here to smell. Maybe you're by a tree. Maybe smell some of the things around you that are on the ground. Pick them up and smell them. I feel like smelling this, deep earth. What do you think, Bubs? It's a good smell, a nice earthy smell around us. So take a few moments to explore with your nose. See what smells and scents you can find. So now we've spent some time grounding ourselves in this space, I would just offer you the thought of maybe it's nice to give some gratitude out to the space. So just some thoughts of thanks to this area for letting us sit here for this short while and for revealing some of its mysteries to us. I'd also encourage you at this point to reflect on how you're feeling right now in your body. And perhaps if you've brought a notebook out, you might like to write about that or draw something or doodle or write a poem, whatever you want to do with that. If you're out here with other people, then maybe once you've had some solo reflection time, you could then share those thoughts and ideas as well as your stories from what you've found in your sit spot. So now we've spent some time getting to know this space, I invite you to appreciate the uniqueness, the diversity and the generosity of nature through one of nature's best loved toys, sticks. Whew. There are abundance of them. They're all over the place, these wonderful things called sticks. So I invite you to find yourself a stick, but not just any stick. It has to be a stick that you like. It has to be a stick that you look at that stick and go, "Cool, that's a good stick. I really like that stick." So take a few moments now, pause this video and find yourself a really nice stick. Welcome back. We have our sticks. Hope you enjoyed your stick shopping and browse and you've got your own special stick. So let's take a moment to appreciate how wonderful these sticks are. No other stick in the world is the same as the stick that you're holding in your hand right now. Not even sticks that grew on the same tree, even on the same branch of the same tree. They're not identical to this stick that you're holding. Your stick is unique. It is special. It has been formed through life and death to reach you right now. Imagine its journey when it was a living stick. It was growing as a branch, or started as a twig and then maybe turned into a branch on a living tree, shaped by the sunshine, the rain, the winds. Then at some point it fell to earth and started to decompose, again being shaped by the elements, the wind and the rain. Maybe creatures came and moved in and helped that decomposition. Maybe mosses and lichens or fungi started to help too. It's travelled through life and death. And then for whatever reason, you picked it up. You chose that stick. You could have chosen any stick in the woodlands, but you chose that one. Or maybe it chose you. And now that journey's led it to your hands and you're holding it. So take a moment to let's appreciate these beautiful sticks. Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they, Bubs? You want your one? We're going to appreciate them with all our senses. Use your eyes to take a good look at them. Look at the colours. Maybe the bark's still on it. Maybe the bark's come off it. Maybe it's a smooth stick. Maybe it's a wiggly stick. Maybe it's got little branches coming off of it. Maybe it's got little knots still on it. Take a moment to feel your stick. Feel its texture. Is it rough, smooth, silky, soft, hard? Take a moment to smell your stick. Maybe it has its own smell, its own woody fragrance. Want to smell yours? Maybe, if you're like Lily Rowe, you might even taste your stick. Let me taste it too. Tastes of wood. Don't eat your stick though. We're not going to eat it, no. So give thanks, just appreciate this beautiful stick. Perhaps the stick has a message for you. Perhaps it's got some significance to you. Maybe there's a lesson held within your special stick. But these sticks are all over the place. Maybe they've all got little hidden messages for us. All we've got to do is pick it up. So we're going to do something with our stick in a second, but maybe you might like to pause just now and jot down some notes or words of appreciation, whatever you like to do to reflect about your special stick. So, we've been telling you some fibs. This isn't really a stick. This is a magic wand. Ooh, Expelliarmus. And Lily Rowe's stick isn't really a stick, is it? It's a instrument. You gonna hit it? No, mine isn't really a stick. In fact, you see this bit at the end here, it's angled because it actually was the great giant's bogey picker. And that angle was so it could get right up the nostril. It was. It's a bit gross, I know, Bubs. And your stick, Bubba, was actually the giant's toothpick. It's got another little ridge there just to get in those incisors. In fact, look, there's a bit of his lunch, a bit of cabbage, I think, that's still on the end of your stick. So, your stick isn't really a stick. What is it? I invite you to tell the biggest, baddest fibs you can about your stick. Now, this is great if you're out with other people because you can take it in turns to tell your fibs about what your stick really is. So get together and take it in turns. Tell fibs until you run out. Basically, keep telling those fibs for as long as that they come out. And we'll keep telling our fibs, won't we, Bubs? So you might like to pause the video now whilst you tell your fibs to everybody. Welcome back from telling your fibs. Now, without judgment, I'd invite you just to reflect on how that felt for you. So what you were practicing there was something called divergent thinking, which is linked to creativity. And young children are naturally genius at divergent thinking. They can think all sorts of things about the world around them, some of which isn't what we would call logical because they haven't yet been taught that there's a logical, linear way of thinking. So reflect on that. And from what I've noticed, some people find that really easy, like they can tell fibs all day, they tell the stories all day long about what their stick could be. And other people find it a little bit more tricky. So, you know, you're all right for the first one, yeah, it's a magic wand. My second one, maybe it's a broomstick. Third one, we're starting to run out of ideas. And, you know, fourth one, oh, I don't know. So wherever you are at with that, that's fine, you know, that's where you're at. But I just invite you to think about it, because as practitioners working with children, we need to see the world through the eyes of a young child. We need to think about where we're at with our own creativity, our own imagination, because if we want to help other people play out here, we need to be able to play ourselves and think about the what ifs and look with awe and wonder at the world around us. So leading on from this, it's really important as practitioners supporting play that we're able to see the world through the eyes of a child. So I believe that it is completely possible for adults to revisit the awe and wonder of childhood, and that it's through playing, indeed, it's through playing in nature that we do it. Because after all, nature is awesome in the truest sense of the word, and it is wonderful in the truest sense of the word. So that's why I do Forest School, because it's a way to get all people back to that pure state of childhood play. So in the next exercise, I'm going to invite you to see the world through the eyes of a child. Look around and see nature as a playground. So to get into the mindset of this, I invite you first to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and think about maybe your own play memories from childhood, and think about how you were as a child. Think about the qualities that young children have. So maybe a sense of freedom, of curiosity, of exploration. Perhaps think about their emotional honesty, whatever they're feeling, they tend to express. Perhaps they have no fear of judgment from other people. They just do whatever they want to do in that moment. So think about those things and get yourself into the mindset of childhood. Then, when you're ready, I invite you to slowly open your eyes. See the world as if you're seeing it for the very first time. Look at it with freshness and newness. Look at the things. Think about what draws your curiosity. What do you notice? What do you feel like you're drawn to? Is there something out here that you would like to explore further? Is there something you'd like to touch, maybe? Is there something you might like to climb or balance on or look under? So feel that natural inherent curiosity drawing you to things, and I encourage you to follow it. Follow where your curiosity takes you. I'd recommend trying to do this for at least 20 minutes. Obviously it could be a lot longer if you find yourself very curious, and you know, time flies when you're having fun, as it were. But try to give it at least 20 minutes. I have noticed in the past that for some people they want some ideas to start them off with. So if that's the case, don't worry, I'm going to give you some in a second. So if you're one of those people, then just keep listening. I'm going to give you some ideas, and I'd encourage you to use them as a starting point. But as soon as your own natural curiosity draws you to something, then abandon the ideas and go with what your gut is telling you to explore. If you've already got curiosity now and you know that there's something you want to go and discover and explore, then by all means stop the video now and go and do it. Go and explore, discover, who knows what you will find, and we shall see you after you've had your playtime. So here are a few ideas to get you started as you're exploring the world through the eyes of a child. Now, what I would say is use these ideas as a jumping off points, like to start you off. As soon as you feel your own natural curiosities taking over, then go with them, okay? So this isn't an activity checklist for you to kind of tick off and do each one, okay? Just use them as a starting point. So, as you can see on my list here, I've got some categories of ideas. So, first of all, start with your senses. Do some sensory exploration. How many different colours can you find in the environment? How many different shapes can you see? How about sounds? I wonder how many different bird voices you can hear in the woods. I wonder what direction they're coming from. I wonder what textures are out here. How many things can I find? Can I find prickly things, tickly things, smooth things, hard things, soft things, fluffy things? I wonder what they feel like if I was to use my feet to touch them. I wonder whether all flowers smell the same. I wonder if different leaves have different scents. So there's a few ideas to get you going with sensory exploration. Then there's physical exploration. So how do I want to move in this environment? Are there things that I might want to balance on, or to jump over, or to crawl under, or to crawl inside, or to dangle off of, or climb? Are there those sorts of things? Of course, do be careful and stay safe when you're physically exploring. How about construction? What natural materials can I find out here? What can I do with them? Maybe I can make a den, maybe I can make a picture, a collage, a sculpture. Who knows, maybe I can make a car. Whatever I want to make. Think about imaginative ideas. So maybe you've seen things out here that have sparked an interest. Maybe there's something that like represents something, that looks like something. Maybe you've seen a face in a tree, or an eye in a tree, or you've noticed a stump that looks like a rabbit, or acorn cups that look like hats for fairies. Who knows, maybe those ideas have been sparked from what things look like. Then maybe there's the art side of things. How can you express yourself out here? Maybe you can experiment with making paints out of mud or something. If you've brought a water bottle out with you, mix up some mud paint perhaps. Maybe there's mosses or leaves that you might be able to rub to make greeny colours or something. Maybe you can experiment with how you represent shape and form. Maybe you use the natural materials themselves to make pictures, images, shapes, all sorts of things. Maybe you could also experiment with sound out here. Maybe certain songs or words come to you. Poetry might come to you whilst you're out here. So then you might want to explore your nature knowledge as well. Maybe there is questions that are coming to you from what you've noticed out here. Maybe you'd want to find out more about the plants and the animals that live here. Maybe you've got your own little investigations that you want to start pursuing. So for example, why do some trees have their leaves coming out now, whereas others have still got buds on? I wonder who made these tracks that I've noticed in the mud. I wonder if bees have a favourite flower that they like to visit. So whatever those questions are, maybe you can observe things in nature that will help you answer them. So there you go, there's a few ideas to get you started, but as I said at the beginning, only use these as a jumping off point to start you off. As soon as you feel your own inherent curiosity taking over, then ditch the rest of these ideas and just follow your own lead, follow your gut instinct. Welcome back, hopefully with muddy knees, leaves in your hair and sparkling eyes. I'd like you to take a moment now just to reflect on the experiences you had whilst you were out here exploring through the eyes of a child. So you might want your notebook to jot down some ideas and thoughts, or if you're out here with other people, maybe you'd like to have a discussion about it. So share what you got up to and how you found that. But there are also 4 questions that I'd like you to think about. So the first one is, what did you notice? What were you curious about? And were you able to identify that you were curious about something, or was that more tricky? Did you need a little bit of help to get going with that? So what were you naturally led towards doing? Secondly, if you were at forest school, say, and we had other people and resources, what would you need to follow your curiosity more fully? So say if I was there with you in the woods, what sorts of things do you think would have helped you be able to pursue your line of inquiry, your curiosity more fully, if there was anything? Thirdly, did you find that you were drawn to things that were challenging? And I mean that in all senses of the word. So it could have been something physically challenging, but it could also be something mentally challenging or socially challenging if you were out with other people. So were there things that kind of took you outside of your comfort zone a little bit? You wanted to try things out. And then finally, what did you discover about yourself whilst you were out here spending time? And again, think holistically. It doesn't need to be kind of lessons learnt or anything. Just think about how you might have discovered things about yourself as a person whilst you were out here. So take a few moments to either jot ideas down or have a conversation about those. We've reached the end of our time out here for this session, so thank you for watching, and I hope you've had a lovely time in the woods where you are, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.